Hi all, this is Skate, and this might just be one of the most rushed videos I have ever made. I am flying to Minsk in literally 4 hours, but Wargaming gave me early access to this tank. This is the Tier 8 German tank destroyer, the Scorpion G. Now it's not available in game except for early access at the time of making this video, but when it becomes live in game and when I can release this video, it will be live in the game and available. I don't know how it's going to be available, whether it's going to be crates, whether it's going to be an extortionate price, whether it's going to be a reasonable price. At the time of making this video, I just don't know. And it's kind of the middle of the night, so Wargaming can't really be contacted to ask. That being said, the reason I'm rushing to make said video on this tank is because I was very anxious for this tank. It was a case of, it's a very famous tank in PC, and for that reason, when it came to Blitz, it's either going to be appalling due to its complete lack of armor, or it would be somehow amazing. The answer to that question, in my honest opinion, and very simply put, is it is absolutely amazing. I have played 10 games in this tank, and I've loved every single one, and I really didn't expect that. I was expecting to get frustrated with this tank due to its lack of armor, but no. I've played 10 games, and my average damage across those 10 games is 3,800. That's a fair bit higher than my average tank at Tier 8. And I know it's only over 10 games, and if it was a heavy tank and it was new to the game, my argument would be that is purely because people don't know how to penetrate the tank yet. But it's a Scorpion. You just look at it and it's guaranteed penetrating. HE, guaranteed penetrating. And it is massive. This thing is bigger than a lot of Tier 8 heavies. So it's big. It's got surprisingly good camouflage values, considering its size. But to give you a quick idea, if you have no idea, in terms of armor, it has 30mm on the front of the hull, 15mm on the front of that gun shield, 15mm on the side of the hull, yeah, it's bad, and 20 on the back. In other words, there's no armor splashed the hell into this thing with HE. But that hull is there for one reason alone: to carry that 12.8cm Cannon 43 L55 gun. And what a gun it is. Equipped up, you're looking 2,848 damage per minute. Standard ammunition has 246mm of penetration, so with the vast majority of targets you come across, it's point and click. Should you require the extra penetration values, you have 311mm of premium ammo penetration, and 65mm on the HE. 600 alpha on that, by the way, but the main fun for this thing is 460 alpha on its AP every 9.7 seconds. And the other thing is, if that 246mm of penetration isn't enough to just look main mass and shoot, the 0.29 gun dispersion will make sure your shell lands on the weak spots every single time. Combine that with its 1.42 second aim time, and you're going to be singing, literally singing. The gun is just fantastic. Now, it does have 6 degrees of gun depression, which isn't anything really to write home about, but it's not bad either. And it does have a fully traversing turret, although it's very slow traversing. Mobility, it's alright. It's got a 55 kilometer per hour top speed, but as you can see, it's a little bit sluggish to get going. Once you're up to speed though, you can definitely use that speed to your advantage, and that aim time and that accuracy, it's just brilliant. Honestly, I expected not to enjoy this tank, and I am ridiculously pleasantly surprised. Even the bad game where I got splashed in the face by an ISU-152 for 1,000 hit points, I still enjoyed that game, and I didn't expect to. This replay in the background, by the way, highlights the accuracy on this thing, the camo values on this thing, but I got a scout. That's not something you see very often in a tank this lightly armoured, and the reason for that is my team stayed back. And that pretty much put me one of the forefront tanks on that battle, surprisingly. So I did 3,700 plus damage, but I also did 2,300 spotting or assistance damage. Now that did make me laugh, because I set up where I set up with the intention of being Overwatch. You could say camping. I will call it tactical sniping, but it's Overwatch. That's what this tank is. I mean, come on, we got a tank sniper in that, and a scout. How does that work? But the next replay is obviously on Himmelsdorf, and it's very different from something like Dead Rail, which is a big, open, long-range map. Theoretically, tanks like this can suffer quite badly on maps like this. This is a corridor map. In essence, this is the sort of map which directly encourages more close-range combat, more peeking out from the rocks, less bushes, less concealment for tank destroyers this light. What this does have going for it in a map like this, though, is camo value. I'm not spotted after firing that shell. Also, I'm not going to get spotted until I've fired my gun. With the reload time I have, and the mobility, and the fact that I have a turret on this thing, or a fully rotating turret, allows me to reset camo, come out, make a massive chunk in terms of a hole on someone, and then once I've made said hole, I can effectively pop back in, wait for reset, come back out. For the opposite end of the spectrum, just to give you an idea, E25, very much the same. Fantastic camo value, but once you've fired that gun, that's it, you're spotted. But with the E25, you need to rely solely on not being spotted to unload over and over and over again. With this thing, get your shot off, reverse back. I believe, by the way, I wasn't even spotted by that IS then. I believe it was this J Panther which spotted me. And he's going to regret this trade-off very quickly, because he's got his 212 damage, I think it was, into me. That's pretty much all he's going to get into me. Because with my 460 alpha shells, I'm going to deal with him no problem at all. But in terms of playstyle for this tank, if you don't like trying to play the long range game, you probably won't like this tank. This tank is solely designated for playing long range, playing support fire, and then when you need to, make the flanks, make runs like this. That's the first tank down on the enemy team, we've got one down on our team. But in the circumstance I'm in, I'm even going to ram someone with my 15mm of armor. But yes, this sort of circumstance where you need to push this tank, even though it's a support tank, sometimes you don't have a choice. And the gun and the top speed will allow me to get on the flanks quite quickly. And a tank like this on the flank can be nasty and can be one hell of a surprise. But in the vast majority of cases, for 70% of your gameplay, that is a plucked up figure by the way, but in the high probabilities is, to play this thing, you're going to be playing it at range. You're going to be playing it very long range, and you're going to be using that accuracy, 0.29 accuracy. Trust me, every game I've played in this, where I've played at long range, right the way across the Castilla map, every single shot has hit. Even when you're firing this thing on the move, the accuracy is just fantastic. And if you go into this tank with that sort of mindset, you should do absolutely fine in it. The mindset I've literally gone in at is, if you shoot me, it's going to hurt me an awful lot. I'm just assuming that anything that hits me is going to take most of my health, or 50% of my health, on the basis of they're going to fire HE. So I'm solidly taking the approach of, nope, I can't get shot. Point blank, I will avoid being shot at all costs. I could come out and put one shot into that IS, and he would have put one into me. But I'm not risking it. It's this sort of circumstance I don't mind being in, because with my accuracy, with me lined up like that, I was in theory going to be having that penetrating shot long before he did. He makes the mistake of popping out a little bit too late, hesitated, which allowed me to get one into the back of him. But if you look now, those three tanks are focusing on my team, which means I am on the flank, which means I can come around the back and start working the back of these tanks without being the focus. The second you are the focus is the second you are going to get absolutely annihilated in this thing. If you can see you're being focused, run away like an absolute head case. Use that mobility to just get out of there. And because you have a fully traversing turret, use that to your advantage. Start putting shots behind you as you're running away. Especially as you've got the good accuracy on the move. So just this IS-3 left to go, waiting for the reload. Once we got the reload in, we are going to finish him off. Which means we finish that game with 5,263, I think it was, damage. And me being very pleasantly surprised that on the corridor map, which I was expecting to absolutely suck in, it pleased me, it surprised me. And without a premium account, without firing any premium shells, we made 93,000 credits in that. That would have been substantially more if we were running a premium account. But that is it for this video. I love this thing. Very pleasantly surprised. Very much wanted. It's going to be a HE magnet, people, which means it's going to be a long-range tank. Doesn't mean snipe the entire battle, though. If the battle's moving along, go along with it. Play the second, play the support role, or get on the flanks on this thing. But that gun is just fantastic. I don't know when this is coming, but it's going to be coming in the next couple of days, and as soon as it does, this video will go live immediately when I am in Minsk. But I have to go. I have a flight to catch. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you on the Twister very, very soon. Bye-bye.